Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lindsay Moore, and it's an honor to be with you today. I'm excited to share with you all that I've learned over the years about the art of body sugaring, from technique to theory and everything in between. Let's get started. We're going to be covering a lot of information, and I'm sure you're curious. Sugaring has been around for a great many years, but it is just in the last couple of years that it has gotten a lot of attention. A lot of people are learning more and more about it, and it is gaining popularity every single day. So we're going to be spending a little bit of time talking about what sugar actually is. We're going to talk about the advantages of sugaring. We're going to talk about how sugaring can become a full body experience. We're going to be talking about the unique and efficient hand technique that is associated with sugaring. We're going to talk about how we can customize your sugar, perfect your techniques, and of course, we're going to be talking about how we can avoid some adverse reactions as well. We're going to talk about who this particular training is perfect for. And in my opinion, it's perfect for everyone. Professionals who are looking to offer a more gentle, more natural option for their clients as far as hair removal goes. We're going to talk about sugaring, people who have been sugaring but want to enhance their skills, maybe take it to the next level. And beauty professionals as a whole who are curious about transitioning from other hair removal options into sugaring. So just a little bit more about myself. Again, my name is Lindsay Moore, and I've been in the industry for about 30 years. I am a fully certified esthetician. I first started in the early days with sugaring, believe it or not, before wax. And for whatever reason, that came very naturally with me. I do offer all spa services. I love everything spa related, and I own a company called Elite Spa Group, and we are a full service luxury day spa company. Sugar is a natural substance. It's a natural paste designed for hair removal that is made from water, lemon juice, and sugar. And it is made into a sticky consistency that grips the hair but is very gentle on the skin. The reason that I use sugar in my business is it's something that I gravitated to very young. And I found it very easy to use. It is safe for the client. The ROI using sugar is remarkable. And for me, the cleanup is very easy as well. Not only with all of those things, it's actually extremely effective, and I'm able to deliver the results that my guests are looking for. I was introduced to sugar very early on, and for me personally, as a business person, as a business person, as a service provider, as an esthetician, I was always looking for ways to be a little bit different than everyone else. And sugaring was a bit of a gateway for me to be able to do that. It was something that I picked up very early. I did it very well from the get-go, and nobody else was doing it. So you're probably curious about what is sugaring. Sugaring is an ancient practice used to remove hair in the direction of growth. So using a sugar paste in your hand rather than with a spatula, you would mold the paste onto the skin in the opposite direction. And with that molding technique, you are enveloping the hairs so that when you use the flicking motion, you are removing the hair in the direction of growth. So let's discuss the advantages of sugaring. In my opinion, the advantages are endless, but it is a completely holistic practice. It's all natural, vegan, and organic. It leaves little to no skin irritation. It is completely water soluble. So as a practitioner with lots of clients, you understand how easy cleanup needs to be. It doesn't leave any sticky residue. It is suitable for all skin types. It works at a very low temperature, which is comfortable for both you as the practitioner and your guest. And the savings on disposables is remarkable. Because we are not using sticks and strips, we're just using a disposable glove. The disposable aspect of it is non-existent. So just a few other notes worth mentioning with regards to sugar is that sugar gains its temperature through body heat, and it can affect the performance. It may work differently in warmer clients. It does not spoil easily, which is excellent. And crystallization, if at all, can occur if the sugar is left unused for many, many months, even possibly years, or if you've overheated it multiple times, which we talk about how to avoid. So just a little bit about how you can know your sugar is ready for use. You'll see here, once you've warmed up the sugar just a little bit, you've taken it out of the warmer, you can tilt the container to the side and you will see the paste moving within. If it is moving, it is ready. If it is running, it's too warm. And just a little bit about the precision hand method. It is extremely important that you always wear gloves. Ensure your hand is gloved before extracting sugar paste to maintain hygiene and professionalism. Gloves must be worn snug as possible. Now, I like my gloves to feel really snug on my hand. I like an extra small glove. I like when the glove itself feels just like my skin with zero flexibility. You always want to extract your sugar paste from the center of the container. This keeps it controlled, this keeps it tidy, and it prevents sugar paste from getting outside of the container. When you are holding onto your sugar paste in a ball, you want to make sure that you are always keeping your fingers moving. As the sugar warms up to the room or your body or your client's body temperature, the sugar paste can move. And if you're not paying attention or keeping that ball in constant motion, you'll find your sugar falling to the floor. With a little bit of practice and a little bit of experience, you will be able to control the sugar. It's important to remember that you are in control of the sugar. The paste is not in control of you. So once you have a little bit of experience and a little bit of practice, you'll be able to use the sugar paste in a deliberate, controlled manner where you are molding the paste onto the skin, enveloping that hair, and removing it in a very efficient, safe, and seamless way for your guest. So in order to begin offering a successful sugaring treatment, there's a few things that you need to consider, and that is the type of gloves that you're going to use. I would recommend that you choose a glove that is snug, extra small, and feels almost like skin. If your gloves are just slightly too big, the sugar paste itself could pull on that glove and make the experience performing the sugaring very uncomfortable. If it's uncomfortable for you, you have to remember it's going to be uncomfortable for your client. Also, what you have to consider is how much sugar you need based on the sugaring service that you're going to be offering. So for example, if you were going to be doing brows, brow and upper lip, brow, upper lip, and chin, you might consider grabbing a piece of sugar that is about the size of a cherry. If you were going to be doing something a little larger, like an underarm or a bikini, consider associating that size of sugar paste with perhaps a walnut. If you were going to be doing something a little bit larger, again, like full legs, full arms, you might want to consider grabbing a piece of sugar that is about the size of a small apple. Now, these certain sizes are just references, but as you get a little bit of experience, you will automatically gravitate to the right amount of sugar paste based on what your client is requesting that you sugar. So just a few reminders when it comes to sugaring. There could come a point when you have to change out the sugar paste that is in your hand. Not very often, but depending on the client, it's very unique to each experience. Depending on the client, you may have to watch out for a few things that could indicate you need a new piece of sugar. So for example, when you're starting out, your sugar paste texture should be very silky, very soft, and very pliable. It should take minimal effort for you to mold that paste onto the skin. If it is becoming difficult for you or you're feeling pressure on your hand, you have to remember your guest is also going to feel that pressure and it could be an uncomfortable experience. So you want to make sure that that paste is soft, pliable, and to the consistency that works for you both. The second thing you need to consider is the adhesion. Although the sugar paste is extremely sticky and sticks to most skin types, if the sugar paste itself has too much hair in it or it's too full, you might find that it doesn't adhere to the skin as easily as it should. You can also have a look at your sugar paste as you are molding it onto the skin. If you notice that the sugar paste is less clear and contains a lot of the hair that you are removing, causing the sugar paste itself to be hard to manipulate, that means that the hair within have become too fibrous and are preventing the pliability of the sugar to offer an effective treatment. So just a few reminders when we're talking about techniques. Let's review what molding is. Molding is manipulating the paste onto the skin. So using a little bit of pressure, we're going to glide our hand and the sugar paste onto the skin. So what's happening there is we are actually stimulating some blood circulation. We're going to mold 3 or 4 times. And what's happening there is we are enveloping the hair, and the heat from your client's blood circulation is going to soften the paste so that it wraps around that hair in a very clean, efficient way. So that when we're preparing to flick the paste off, the hair gently removes itself from the root and comes off with the sugar paste. We need to talk a little bit about our supporting hands. Because we want to keep the skin nice and firm and taut, that supporting hand is something that is very crucial in making our service comfortable and safe for our guests. The hand that is using the sugar paste, just behind it, you're going to be using your support hand so that when you use that flicking motion, we're not at risk of causing any lifting or bruising. Another great thing about sugar paste is we can go over the area multiple times. You'll just notice here in the video, we are sugaring. You can see my support hand is in action there. We are sugaring over the elbow. Another great advantage of sugaring is that we can go around corners. We can take sugar virtually anywhere over any type of skin type or body part. So here we're going over the stubborn elbow and around the corner. Next, we're going over the soft, sensitive area of the inner arm. And we're just going to leave the skin nice and smooth, zero irritation. But you'll see my supporting hand there is actually making it so that the skin does not move, even though we are flicking the paste off. You'll see here. I find when we're educating, a lot of people forget about that support hand, and it is there for, it's a two-handed process, for lack of a better term. It is there to support the skin so that we do not cause any lifting or bruising. Perfect. Here's a chin area showing my support hand in a little bit of a different way, just keeping that skin nice and taut. And what's excellent about sugar is the size of the amount of product that we're using in this particular case is much smaller, but we're creating the same result, a smooth, comfortable experience. We're just molding here. My hand is just following the sugar paste a little bit. And with sugaring, because we can go over the area multiple times, like in, for example, an upper lip, we're able to grab some of the smallest, finest, most stubborn hairs. Because sugaring doesn't adhere to live skin cells, we don't have to worry about making the skin super raw like we do with other hair removal methods. We can mold over an area multiple times in order to get the smallest, most fine hair, for example, an upper lip. You'll see here, my support hand is in action. I have a small amount, and we're just going to flick it off the skin, leaving a smooth, hair-free result. There we go there. Perfect. Right across the top there. We are removing, in this particular case, the hair in the direction of growth. And I will move to the other side of the table to get the other side of her upper lip. But as much as we want to remove the hair in the direction of growth, I don't want you to get stuck on that. Sugaring essentially at its core is a multi-directional method of hair removal. Perfect, there we go. All right, one of my favorite things about sugar paste is how I can customize it to my needs, to my preferences. This is not the case across all forms of hair removal. But for sugaring, it 100% is one of the best characteristics of sugaring. And it's going to be a little bit different from me to you, and it takes a little bit of practice. But sugar paste is warmed up in a warmer or a microwave to the point where it is, while you turn it, as you remember, it's moving within the container. But the only reason we warm it up is so that we can extract it from the container. Once it's out in the air and it's in my hand, it's going to cool down regardless. If you were in a very warm environment, that might not be the case, but for most people in air-conditioned spaces, in normal weather conditions, the paste will ultimately cool down. So for myself, I like to add just 1 or 2 spritz of water, and you can actually make a very firm paste into a very pliable and easy to use paste that is comfortable for you and your guest. If you were to be in an environment where the sugar paste is a little bit too soft, you can add just a little bit of drying powder to the paste, and it will firm it up a little bit for you. So you've got a little bit of flexibility, either trying to firm up your paste or soften your paste so that it works most efficiently for you.
One of the major selling features about sugaring is that you have the ability to customize the sugar to your preferences. Sugar is available in a soft paste and a firm paste, but depending on your client, depending on your climate, depending on your atmosphere, or you personally, you might need to know how to adjust that. And just the fact that we are able to adjust it is a major advantage when it comes to an option for hair removal. So once you've warmed up your AquaGel sugar paste, you should be able to easily remove the desired amount out of the container with ease. But as soon as you start manipulating that sugar paste, using it on your client and letting it kind of cool down, you will notice that it might firm up. And all you have to do, because water is water, or because sugar is made of mostly water, adding a little bit of water will make that very easy to do. So all you have to do is in your cabine, have a water supply available. A little spritz bottle, a little dropper, a squeeze bottle, anything will work. And all it takes is just spreading a little bit across your hand. You will find it's easy to get mixed in, and it just takes a moment before you start seeing the consistency or feeling the consistency of your sugar paste soften. Shake a little excess off if necessary, add more. And one way to practice is to add so much water that you almost ruin the paste for you. And that gives you a bit of a guide in your head as to how much water to add. It's a very personal preference. It's not something that can just be decided in a textbook. You really have to just work with it, practice a little bit, and maybe make a few mistakes until you get it just right, and so that it works perfectly for you.
There we go, just another example of adding a little bit of water to the sugar paste. At first, when you're trying to mix it all together, it might feel a little bit slippery, but once you just stay consistent and get it mixed in there, it becomes a really pliable, comfortable, soft sugar paste. There you go. All right, so just a little bit about the process of sugaring, the step-by-steps, if you will. It's important that when you're molding the paste that you practice at making the paste soft enough and consistent using a little bit of water like we discussed. And if you remember that if you feel strain while molding your sugar paste, you probably need to add a little bit of water to make it softer. If you feel that strain, your client is going to feel that strain as well. Here is just a little example. We're adding a bit of drying powder. And remember when we're applying powder in sugaring, it's not because we're protecting the skin from anything. We're only drying the skin. Sugar contains mostly water, so it won't adhere to anything wet. So we're just after using our prep solution to cleanse the skin, we want to add a little bit of a drying powder. And then you can see here an easy, gentle, pliable mold in the opposite direction of growth. We're going from her ankle here up to the knee. And you'll notice that it's very controlled. The edges are very clean and very smooth. And it's approximately 3 inches wide there. A little bit of flicking action. And we are removing the paste in one piece. And there you go. As you mold the sugar paste over the treated area, the process envelops the hair and seeps into the follicles, causing the hair to come out in one intact strand, if you will. Repeat that molding process about 3 times, and you will successfully remove the hair in the direction of growth. So the reason why the direction of growth is so important is because it helps prevent hair breakage and furthermore ingrowns down the road. It's a less traumatic experience for the hair itself. All right, a little bit of drying powder again, just to repeat that process. There we go. We're going to start at the ankle. And you will also notice here, and we'll talk about it in the next slide anyway, you will see all the sugar paste in the front of my hand. I want to use up that product over the skin, almost like a bulldozer, if you will. Perfect. all the way to the end. And you'll notice that right before I go to flick at the end, I've kind of relaxed my hand there because we don't want to create any lifting. We want to flick it parallel to the skin. Perfect. And off it comes. And there it is. All right. So while keeping the sugar paste in a controlled ball, begin at the lower part of the leg by placing the paste on the skin near the ankle and pushing the paste into the hair direction or against the direction of growth rather. This is the official molding process, the hand technique that takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it, it is so comfortable, it is so easy, and of course, most importantly, it's so efficient. And with the hand technique, keeping your paste on your fingertips and the majority of the paste in front of your hand will make for a timely, more efficient treatment. Practice to keep your paste from falling into the palm of your hand. It's really important to keep that paste on the fingertips and molding it with your fingertips, not dragging it with your fingerprints. Perfect. You can see how pliable this paste is. It's zero effort on my part to mold that sugar paste over the forearm here. And you'll notice that when I go to lift off the paste, it's a very relaxed motion. I'm not lifting the skin in any way. It's very comfortable for the spa guest. And that support hand there, you can see it following the process, which is really important. There my hand comes up again. There we go, and off you go. Perfect. Here we have an underarm. Very similar process. We want to remove the hair in the direction of growth. And you'll notice that some body parts are a little more complex than others. The hair grows in different directions. Like I said before, you really want to try your best to remove the hair in the direction of growth, but sugaring is a multi-directional process. So if you have to go in the opposite direction, it's okay. We're just molding over. And the underarm is a very sensitive area. There's a lot going on there, a lot of inflammation for some people, a lot of sensitivity. So sugaring is an excellent process that is very comfortable for a lot of people. Perfect. The hair in this particular video is a little on the shorter side. So being able to go over the area a few times, multiple times, is a huge benefit. And every time we go over a particular area, whatever hair we have left behind, we've left a tiny little bit of sugar on there, and we've nudged it out ever so slightly. So after 1 or 2 molds, the hair, even the shortest hair, will slide out much more successfully than a lot of other hair removal options. There we go. You'll see my support hand is still always working away over there, making sure the skin is nice and taut, especially right before I go to flick the sugar paste off, leaving it very comfortable, very smooth, and little to no irritation. So just like all hair removal options, we have to do our best to avoid adverse reactions. Everybody's got different sensitivities. Everybody's skin is a little bit different. So there's certain things that we always have to stay on top of. We want to avoid, most importantly, bruising, skinning the skin, or skin lifting. So for bruising, we have to make sure that the skin is taut. Using that support hand is crucial throughout the process. It's not a one-handed treatment. Both hands are as important as each other. You want to remove the hair in a parallel pattern. Staying parallel in all hair removal processes is extremely important, and it again reduces the chance of bruising. You want to avoid going over this area repeatedly. With sugaring, we've got some flexibility. With sugaring, I prefer to say we want to avoid going over the area excessively. And once you've got a little bit of experience, a little bit of practice, some experience under your belt, you'll get to learn the skin and recognize some things that might be indicators for you that this area has been treated enough. It's time to leave that area alone and go to another area. But with sugaring, it is so efficient and so successful that you don't really ever need to excessively go over the area to the point where the skin has become irritated. Don't try to flick the paste if the sugar appears to be stuck. And this can happen for a number of reasons, but it's usually environmental. Perhaps your client has gotten a little bit on the warmer side. Remember, sugaring is a hair removal process and it's not always comfortable. So the client can, from time to time, experience a little bit of excessive heat. So if they have warmed up a little bit, the sugar paste can get stuck. And we go over lots of different techniques in order to become unstuck. But you don't want to keep trying to force it off. One of the best things about sugar is that it's water soluble. So if you get stuck to the point where you cannot remove it, all you need is a warm, damp cloth and the sugar paste will wipe right off. Also, when flicking off sugar paste, relax your hand. This will reduce the potential for errors. Taking a deep breath, taking it one mold at a time, flicking it off in a very relaxed, comfortable way is what's best for both you and your client and can help you avoid adverse reactions. So when it comes to skin lifting, you want to support the skin just like you do when you're trying to avoid bruising, using a paste that is the correct temperature and not too cold. You want to make sure it's nice and pliable and easily moldable. If it's too hard or it's not pliable enough, it'll be uncomfortable for both you and your guest. And you want to consult with the client, of course, before starting the services. You want to make sure that there are no contraindications, no medications in their file, no change of skincare. We want to look out for things like retinols and Accutanes. And just like we would for any kind of hair removal process, we have to ask the right questions before we start sugaring. I don't want to call it a reaction, but another common concern for guests is ingrown hairs. And really, when we're talking about removing hair in any fashion by the root, ingrown hairs is part of the conversation. But because we're removing the hair in the direction of growth, the result is less breakage than when we're removing it in the opposite direction of growth. And less breakage often results in less ingrowns. So avoid breaking hairs by relaxing your hand before flicking the skin or the sugar paste off in the direction of growth. And you want to ensure that the skin is properly prepared before sugaring and use a post-care product that contains a witch hazel, which is very soothing. Our Soothe product has witch hazel in it. It's an anti-inflammatory as well. And of course, the tea tree is excellent as well. Skin spotting. It occurs when the hair is in the anagen phase and is forcefully removed from the papilla or blood source of the hair. This may cause a small amount of blood to reach the surface. It's called spotting, and it will appear as little red dots within the hair follicle, but it is nothing to really be concerned about. It is a normal process and can happen with any type of hair removal service. Here's another look at the upper lip. I'm just dusting a little bit of drying powder on there. I'm not, in the case of powdering or adding a drying powder, less is more. We do not need a lot. Remember, we're only drying the skin so that the sugar paste will adhere. We're not protecting the skin from any sort of trauma. There we go, a little flick, and off it comes. Perfect. A little bit of pressure is always nice to offer your guest after you remove hair. It just makes that initial discomfort dissipate a little bit more efficiently. Perfect. A little flick. There we go. Going over the upper lip or over the area multiple times is possible. And even if your client had a small breakout or a little bit of a lesion that's healing, the sugar paste will not harm that. But you do need to be aware of things like cold sores, fresh lesions, like if there was any scabbing, you want to make sure you do avoid that, just like in any other hair removal type. So now that we've had the opportunity to discuss some of the details about sugaring and what sugaring is and what it's all about, it's with great pleasure that I get to share with you my favorite sugaring paste, and that is Aquagel by Caron Lab. Just a few of the things that I love about this particular product is that it is never tested on animals. It is developed using the highest ethical standards available. The entire Aquagel range is vegan friendly, and Caron Lab as a whole is an incredible resource for education and support. Aquagel sugar paste is available in a firm consistency. The firm sugaring paste is easy to control. It's ideal for beginners. You can use in warmer areas of the body, such as bikinis, underarms, and even the face. And it's ideal for hot or warmer, humid climates. But the sugar paste is also available in a softer consistency. Our soft sugar paste is excellent for larger body parts, such as lower legs, back, and chest. It's ideal for experienced therapists like myself, and it can be used in cooler climates. For this demonstration, we are using a firm paste in order to shape the brows. I've started in the center of the brow, removing the hair in the direction of growth. Afterwards, I move under the brow so that I can get a perfect shaped arch. With the firm paste, I apply very slowly, and you will see that I am choosing the hairs one at a time. The reason this is such a advanced technique is because I can be very particular about the hair that I am removing and require little to no tweezing at the end. Because the paste is firm, it allows me to move slowly and deliberately. With a little bit of a mold there, I'm going to just flick it off and all the hair is removed. There is a few more there that I would like to go and get, and because sugaring is so safe and gentle on the skin, I have the ability to mold over that particular area again and make sure that I get every hair with intention, creating a crisp and smooth brow shape. Bring it in, little tiny mold, and off it comes. And you'll see that the skin is left healthy and intact. Excellent. So here are just a few of my sweet tips that I'd like to share with you today. Never add water or powder to the actual sugaring container. Only customize the sugar paste that is in your hand. Always keep the lid on your sugaring container. The health department likes this, your guests will appreciate this, and it does prevent any debris from falling in the container itself. You can microwave to warm up your sugar paste, but I highly recommend that you only microwave in 15 to 20 second increments. Every microwave is a little bit different, and it will depend on the fullness of your container. You never want to accidentally overheat it. If the sugar paste is moving when you tilt the container, that is how you know it's ready. If it is running, you've accidentally warmed it up too much. And if that is the case, another tip that I highly recommend is that you always keep an extra few tubs in your back bar for backup supply. So a rule of thumb for me is whenever we get down to 2 tubs, it's time to reorder. In case one container was overheated and you don't have the luxury to wait for that tub to cool down, you will appreciate having another one in your back bar that you can just pull out and keep the service experience going for you and your guest. You never want to risk not having the product in order to do a successful service. So there are a number of reasons why Aquagel quickly became my favorite sugaring paste available on the market today. But just to list a few reasons why I enjoy it so much, it's because it is ideal for even the most sensitive skin on the face or all over the body. It can remove terminal and vellus hairs with ease, and it can even remove the most stubborn, deep-rooted hair, even if it's just one at a time. So I'd like to take a few moments and discuss why adding Aquagel to your service menu is something that you should really consider. Before I go into depth about that though, I want to make it perfectly clear that I am not pro-sugaring and anti-wax. I absolutely have a passion for both. Being able to offer your guests options is what's going to set you apart from your neighboring salon or spa down the road. Giving your clients options these days is what they're looking for. And either sugaring or waxing, when done well, are a very successful revenue stream. So doing both to increase your clientele and your bottom line is extremely important. So when we're talking about sugaring, the ROI or the return on investment is undeniable because there are minimal disposable products that you have to invest in, because the time efficiency of sugaring and the amount of clients that you can complete in a day successfully, and the fact that we just don't need a lot of sugaring product is the reason why the ROI, or the return on an investment, is remarkable. Sugaring and waxing, when done well, will give you the same results, and this is true. Admittedly, both waxing and sugaring are skills that require professional training and practice. But once you've mastered both of those, you are only able to offer your clients more options to get them the results that they are looking for. So now that we've spent some time together learning all about sugaring, you're probably asking what is next. And I want to assure you that your learning does not stop here. In your inbox, you will also look forward to receiving a copy of our Aquagel sugaring manual, as well as a schedule some upcoming free in-depth online sugar training. Now, I'd like to take a moment and thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope that I have piqued your interest in sugaring and I was able to share some new and interesting information, and that you will consider bringing sugaring into your practice. If we have ignited any questions, please feel free to email us at education@cbongroup.com, and we will do our best to reach out and get any information that you'd like. Thanks again, and I hope to see you in our future training.